Hey, good to see you, man. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. Another day, right? Just very fortunate, very grateful to be around. How you doing?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Every day is a blessing. Absolutely. Hey, wanted to touch base with you on a couple things. Had a quick question. I know, as we all see, AI is everywhere these days, right? People seem to be rushing like it's 1840s, the gold rush all over again. Everybody wants to start a business. Everybody thinks they know how to start a business. I know, based on your experience, you know how to get it done. Can you shed some light? Can you shed some knowledge? What are the most important aspects if I truly want to get it off the ground?
How much time do we have? You know, that's a common question that I get asked a lot. When I'm doing, some of these speaking engagements, and when I talk to aspiring entrepreneurs, existing business owners, corporate folks, and yes, you pointed out something that's really hot today in the market, AI, right? It's a lot of companies, hundreds, if not thousands of them that are opening up every week, it seems like. And it's a lot of intelligent people, a lot of great ideas, right? A lot of great things that people will say, hey, we'll save money, we'll be more efficient, we'll be able to help businesses identify things faster, able to have businesses say, hey, we're predicting things a lot. And I love all that. I'm a total advocate of it. And there's a misconception with other people, which is a different subject entirely. Oh, yeah, it's taking away jobs. No, what we're talking about here is what you just asked about, starting up, organizing, right? One, with whatever industry, whether it's, creating, let's just say you're running a tech company, you're doing things with AI, you're doing the software, could be agricultural, it could be manufacturing operations, it could be pharmaceutical. The number one thing is building the team. This is the most difficult part, right? I could tell you, our experience and what I've advised people is, you know, if you've got the foundation right and say the idea is half baked or let's just say we're looking at investing in a business, we look at the founders or the people that started it up, look at the organization, the core team. If they're good, we found or fund the team that actually is running the business, not necessarily the idea. Now the idea is great, don't get me wrong, that's the gold mine, that's something that you're going to hit a unicorn, right? But it's hard, right? A lot of people will have this pie in the sky dream, right? You've heard about it. And a lot of the things is like, okay, you're going to make everyone $1 billion. You're going to save the planet and you're going to maximize it, have all this revenue. But then the point is, how do you do it? Now, you have people that are drivers. You have people that are the ones that are managers. You're going to have the people that understand finance, technology. You have to have a balance, right? And let's just talk about technology since you brought that up. You definitely want the people that are creating the code, the language, right? For the, let's just use AI. And it could be different levels of it. It could be something that could, so let's just talk about predictive analytics or something that's computational, right? That's great. But then can those people writing the code of the program with these language writers, are they sellers? Not necessarily. Are they operators? That's where we look at it, and we've talked about this. You look at it like, who's running the business? A lot of people think they could run a business, but this is not the corporate hat, right? A lot of people kind of tend to think, oh, I'm just going to take it easy. When you run your own business and when you're starting, everyone's got to be in alignment. You cannot just jump in with people who think it's going to be easy. And that's why it's not easy. If it was, everyone in the world would be doing it. And I'm not just talking to AI stuff. I'm not even talking about social media where a lot of these fantastic content creators are doing some magic with the content and getting millions and millions of views and subscribers. Amen to them, right? Bless them. But at the same time, that's just them and maybe a team of 2 or 3, right? You're talking managing a team of 5 and more, right? To manage this internationally. So it's a different concept, a different process and entirely. But the hardest thing is the founding team. It's the people that are operating, and to answer your question, that's what we look at first. And if you don't have that, everything else after that will fail. It's a guarantee. Are people going to stay up? I'm not saying people are going to work 18, 19, 20 hours a day. I know we did that, when we were doing our first round of 2, but I think, that's something that what's fair. Like say you and I founded a company, right? And you're going in there going, hey, I'm going to be handling the operational side. You're managing people. And I'm going to be like, hey, I'll just do this and sit aside. Maybe I'm not saying there's an hourly timeline by day, but say you're driving the force and you're holding 70, 80% of all the operations right now, right? And I'm coming in and maybe doing way less than that, maybe 20% at all. In the beginning, yes, there's things that we play in our specialty, but when you start getting things ramped up, you've got a product, you're in proof of concept, you're going in and trying to do testing, you're trying to recruit people to join the business, right? Who has a talent for that? You know what I mean? And it's not about just one person do better. It's a team effort. But if one of us, say if it's me in this case, that's lazy, and I'm not willing to show you that I'm going above and beyond like you are, you might build some resentment later, right? You may not feel it now, but you're gonna connect the dots like, what's going on? So that's why, for me, the first thing is foundationally, you got to have a strong team.
So you touched on a few things there, right? Going through it, let me give you three aspects of a team member. Now you're building your team. Prioritize these three things. What's least important? What's most important? Trust, desire, that person's desire, and talent. What's the most important? What's the least important to you?
Number one's trust. It's a no-brainer. The trust has to be obviously the one that you're going to have to trust each other. Like you're going to have to trust me. I'm going to have to trust you. I'm going to have to trust the person driving and building that they're going to get it done and they're going to do what it takes. That what it takes might take 10 hours one day, might take an hour one day. But the point is, again, it's nothing that's time bound. It's trusting that they're going to do what it takes to get done. And even the sacrifice of time. When you're running your own businesses or business, you're going to have to sacrifice time to go out the things that you want to do personally because everyone's doing it. Time with family, time with sports, exercise. I'm not saying you can't have that. It's just you're going to have to try to balance along with having a day job, for example, right? A lot of people that do this are working full time. So trust is number one. Number two, obviously you want people that have the talent. I think let's call it two-way because, trust is one thing, but then the talent means talent in the specific areas. Again, but this technology, running operations, being able to be the person that has the mouthpiece or to be able to talk, the ones that has the networks, the connections. But I would say 2B would be, the desire. Desire is important too. But if you need all three, that's the point here, right? Yes, I would put trust number one as anything. You got to trust, but you have to have all three to succeed, and that to me is important. Again, the trust part is trusting each other to do what it takes to be there, reliant. And then the talent is important because of the talent we all bring individually, because you're not going to bring in 4 tech people or 4, say, business operators or 4 people that are just sales guys, right? You're going to bring in, the talent that serves the business and our goals as a business, as an organization, and then the desire. And let's call desire, expand out, call it the hunger. How hungry are the people? Do they see it? And also rely on the talented people who've done it. Because some people who say they have the desire, they have the talent, some of them have always worked, for somebody. Nothing wrong with that because you want that desire, that hunger. But I would also say the trust part comes in to say, well, say you have done these things. You've started companies up and you've gone through that whole process of going in and asking for money, building from nothing all the way to whether you took a company public or you took it in and you got it acquired or sold it. Point is, you've done it. I would trust you to lead me to do that because I have never done it in this example, right, of your question. So that's why a lot of this has to be based on that foundation. You have to have all three.
Obviously, all three are needed to be successful. That's clear. But what has been, through your experiences, the biggest hindrance? What's been the most common hindrance out of those three, would you say? Is it trust?
A lot of ego. Obviously, if you have a plan in place, there's an organizational plan. It's, people come together all the time and they'll say, hey, I have this idea. I want to build this spaceship and I want to go to Mars and I want to populate Mars, just as hypothetical, right? And the point is, well, okay, that's great on paper. How do we do it? What is the flow to do that? Yes, some things, I'm using something a little bit outlandish out there, but my point is you have to have a plan on how to execute that. That's the thing. A lot of people would like to just talk, and I've observed this with a lot of people I've consulted with, whether they're publicly traded companies and I'm talking within departments and advising some of these C-level executives, or if it's people that are just started their business, whether they're in AI, they're in manufacturing, they're in agriculture, they're in operations, they're in biopharmaceutical, whatever it is, the most common thing is a lot of people are disconnected. The disconnection is because there's a communication. There's a dysfunction in communication. Communication is the number one failure in some of these teams. Some people also feel like if they're not open to having these constructive conversations, say I report to you, or we're teammates, right? No one's working for anybody. Everyone's working for each other. But say you say something to me and I'm not going to listen, or I'm immediately, because I haven't gone through what you have, if you're telling me like, hey, I need you to respond to the things, to respond to my emails, or hey, can you respond sooner when you're doing this? And yes, I'm working a day job. I have to find and make the time. You have to trust me to be able to respond and communicate. If people don't communicate, that pushes things back hours, days, weeks, and it fails, right? So to me, you asked a really good question. Communication is the biggest thing, whether it's communicating a plan, communicating like, hey, this is not about one person versus another. This is about finding a way for everyone to find a happy medium. And it's hard. It is extremely difficult. A lot of people don't know that. And again, I could expand upon this as I've had these types of, call it master classes with things that we've done. But honestly, that is the number one thing. If communication could be established and people buy into it, understand the why, it's going to succeed. Even if the product idea may not, by society standards, be great, if you could operate successfully, that's a success you need. So yes, communication would be the number one point that I would say that has hurt businesses on all levels, especially if you're trying to start something new.
The conveyance, right? Absolutely. Understood. Understood. How do you combat ego, though? What's the most powerful way to combat ego?
Well, everyone, everyone is smart and intelligent in their own way, right? When you're looking at building a team, you look at everyone's profession, what they're good at, as they're going to be evaluating and judging you as well. The point is to have everyone understand. This comes back to the number one piece, the trust. If I trust you, trust me, I'm going to trust you with your specialty in mind. Trust is there. Then we make sure we communicate that there's an operating plan. And I'm not talking about, we're going to be bogged down with, oh, we're going to do plan. No, there's things that have to be organized, right? And that organization also ties into communication. The ego thing, what I say about that is someone's going to, spitball and hey, shoot this. Oh, I did this. I'm like, that's great. Yes, everyone's kind of throwing out and their qualifiers. But once you're there, that qualifier stuff's out the window at the moment. Now, if you're qualifying, like I have contacts, yes, you're a salesperson, go sell, go build the network, you have a mouthpiece. But if you're talking technology, that's why we're here, or whoever it is, you know how to build it. If you're someone that's a planner, that's going to operate and organize everybody, because the salesperson might not be doing it, the marketing person might not do it, even the person that's building the deck of group, they may not be organized, but the operators will do that. So that's why everyone has to understand everyone's role. And if everyone understands that, everyone's swimming in the same direction versus having this siloed approach, which for the most part has failed, why business have gone down. But that is what I mean by ego. As long as everyone understands, hey, this is your responsibility, your value, my value, and everyone appreciates it, that's the biggest thing. And if people could hone in on that and just set aside things, team effort. A lot of people don't do that because everyone wants to be the star. I've seen it. I've seen it just recently. They want to be this, but they'll talk, but then when they don't listen, they feel shut down and they get a little quiet. But at the same time, that's not the intention, but that's where the communication part comes in to make sure that it takes good leaders and leadership to understand that, right?
Yes.
No, constructive conversations are important, which is part of communication, which is part of number one, trust.
Very powerful messages. Absolutely. And you've said a lot there. I know we started on this route of discussing, say, a startup, right? How to get something off the ground. But there's a lot of principles that you've introduced here that can be applied to any team situation.
Yes.
Several, at least, is ways of working in just general life, right? That needs to be reinforced. I appreciate the messages here. Thank you so much. And thank you for your insights.
Yeah, you're welcome anytime. There's things too, as we get further into this, that we could break apart. There's so many, I was joking earlier about like, hey, do we have time? But there's a lot to unpack. And again, at the multiple levels. And then I look forward to sharing these as we continue this journey, and this topic of business, right? You know how I love about this and I'm passionate about it. And passion is the one other one I forgot. That's part of the desire, right? So it's that, and also, we got to make sure that, we know what we're doing, which we always think we do, but you also evolve and discover. So, but here for you and everyone listening. And yeah, if you guys, for the folks listening in, ask questions, send us some direct messages. I would be happy to give you feedback. But again, just want to thank you again for the insight and for asking the questions, and look forward to our continued conversations into this. So thanks so much. Have a good one, buddy.
Thank you. Take care, guys.